Oh,
Here.
yes, I'm here.
Simpson. Burke. Here? Yes, sorry. That's all right. Brewski is excused. Cleary.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Lockhart. Here. McLaughlin. And with her nice name tag. And Chapman.
Yeah.
8 present, Mr. Chairman.
Great. First item on the agenda is previous business, approving previous meeting minutes.
Motion.
Motion.
Mr. Chairman,
They said you didn't
you
call.
missed Hurley.
Oh,
Mr. Burley.
Oh, I had already checked you off. Mr. Purley, you are here.
8.
You're 8 are present, yeah.
Great. So we had a motion by
I'll second
Mr.
it.
Cleary, and second by Mrs. Smith. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And, yeah, please.
Item 2 is authorizing an agreement with the New York State Office of Indigent Legal Services regarding the statewide expansion of the Harrell Herring settlement and amending the 2023 Albany County budget.
Mrs. McLeod? Commissioner McLeod?
No, I don't think so. I think,
This is, Judge Herrick. Is Judge Herrick here? No.
Can we just skip that and we'll come back to it if we get to it?
Okay, we'll skip that one for now, and yeah.
All right. Item 3 is authorizing an agreement with Interfaith Partnership for the Homeless regarding emergency shelter services at the Sister Mavis Jewel Medical Respite for the Homeless.
Okay, Commissioner McLeod.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
We're requesting authorization to renew a contract with IPH for their homeless respite services. And this is a per diem contract for up to 10 beds at any one time. For those people that need a little bit of extra attention, who are homeless, who may be recovering from an illness or an injury, and it offers a lot more private space, intensive case management, help with getting to medical appointments and that kind of thing, and they can stay in the shelter 24 hours, which is, most shelters require you to leave in the morning, so it offers a little bit more support for people. This is going to be annualized up to $140,000, but we're requesting to make this one-time 21-month contract to get it on a calendar year basis, to be in alignment with the rest of our shelters, and in our alignment with our county budget and the OTDA budget year and all of that. So this particular one will be $245,000 for 21 months. And that's again an up to amount. We don't know if we'll be using every bed all the time.
Thank you. Where's the shelter located?
This is at 35 South Ferry.
Okay, South Fair, okay. My district. I know it's at Ferry, that's why I was confused with the wrong zip code. What? Oh, first, Legislator Lockhart.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just a quick question. It says hospital setting. What is it? Is it
12210, that's why I was like,
just a medical setting or
South Ferry.
also
It's
mental health
actually-
units and addiction
Yeah.
recovery and everything?
It's really not a hospital setting. We should really remove.
Oh.
It's a private room with more support, hospital-type beds, you know, so that people can get easily in and out of the bed. But it's
No.
really, it's not a hospital.
No, they're being
private.
discharged from an inpatient hospital setting.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That's what I meant.
Oh,
What
okay.
kind of hospital or facility? Is it just traditional hospital or does it also cover mental health discharges and
This is more
addiction?
physical, this
More
is physical,
Okay.
disability, that you're having mobility problems,
Okay,
and where you need more rest.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
kind of thing, yeah.
Okay, great, thanks.
And Mr.
No
Cleary,
further questions?
actually, I
Motion?
have a question. So is this a new shelter, or is this our first, is this already existing, but it's our first time
No,
contract?
actually, this shelter was in Troy a number of years ago. It started in Troy, and we did have a contract with it when it was in Troy for, again, per diem type beds. They moved it to the South Ferry Street location at least 2 years ago, at least.
But this is our first time contracting with them?
No, we've
Oh,
had a
okay.
we've had
We're renewing
contract.
a okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I'm familiar. I know that, I think I know the shelter. Yeah.
Yeah,
corner.
That's 40.
I'll make a motion.
There you go. That must be.
Okay, motion by Mr. Smith,
Second.
second Mr. Cleary, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimous.
Item 2 will be withdrawn on this committee and will be heard on audit and finance instead. Item 4 is authorizing an agreement with Cornell Cooperative Extension regarding the Home Energy Assistance Program.
We're looking to reauthorize an agreement with Cornell Cooperative Extension to serve as our alternate certifier for the HEAP program. And, well, DSS is required to have a non-DSS provider to help people enroll in non-emergency HEAP. And they handle a huge volume of applications for us. They handled 9,000 phone calls in the last 22-23 season so far. And they complete applications and help people complete applications and conduct outreach enrollment days for the HEAP program. So they're great assistance to our HEAP processing. And this is a contract for $160,000.
Great. Ms. McLaughlin, do you have a question?
No.
Oh, okay.
Let's move.
Okay, actually, I was curious, are there any other programs that we do where we contract out to an organization to enroll people,
Well,
other than HEAP?
for applications, no.
Okay.
This is the only benefit application program.
Is
And
it-
it's written into federal law that there must be non-governmental, well, non-DSS enrollers to assist people.
Does this lead to more enrollments? Would it be beneficial to have a similar system set up with other programs? Like SNAP, for
I don't know
example?
what happens if you remove it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happens if it doesn't exist.
So do you mean like if there was another community group that assisted, is that the kind of thing, the point you're trying to make?
Yeah, just, for
'Cause I know
example,
Cornell has been doing this for a number of
For a
years.
long time,
Yeah.
But, I mean, you make a good point. If there was a community-based organization that was versed in this, is it possible, could they apply to be this person? I know, like I said, I know Cornell has done it for a long time, but,
We have not needed to RFP this, because they're a semi-governmental agency, and they kind of are certified to do this work. So as far as having a second certifier, I'm not sure if that's necessary, really.
I think this was, I'm probably getting two things mixed up, it was the last one. In terms of the volume, because I think last year when, I don't know, it was extra cold, seemed to be a lot of requests. Extra money came in during COVID and all of that, and I seem to recall that there were a high volume of requests for heat.
Mhm.
And
There
they,
always are.
I guess they handled it, sufficiently, as they always do. But
Yeah,
I do see, if that need were to come about, if there was a community-based organization that could get certified to do it, that's sort of a backup, I think. To me, it's a good idea, just in terms of outreach. But that's just an information question, nothing to do with, I still support it.
they
Could
do
I-
a really good job.
good idea, Ms. McLaughlin. And I was also just thinking, for example, SNAP, if maybe it'd be helpful to have a community organization or, another group doing something similar with SNAP and, doing outreach and enrolling people. Maybe we'd see, higher enrollment rates among people who are eligible.
The Department for Aging has a new van,
Right.
and one of their functions is going to be SNAP enrollment.
Okay,
Well, they can enroll, only DSS can enroll, but they can take applications and help people complete applications. So they're actually going to be doing that.
Great.
Reduction, benefit.
Yeah. That's a whole
Good time to go get new enrollment,
problem.
when the money decreased to 90%.
Just if I may, my years that I've been here, Cooperative Extension has been an excellent partner in this. I mean, we have so few complaints, they're just so professional and really work with the families, and the people that need the assistance, so.
Yeah, they know the program
They,
really well.
they do, but they treat the people well,
Yeah, they do.
which is important.
Yeah.
Mr. Perley?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and two sort of related questions. One in terms of outreach. I know for a lot of my constituents, word of mouth doesn't really work when your neighbor is a mile away. Do we have like examples of what form the outreach takes in order?
If they do enrollment days, and let me see, they must do one out in the Hilldowns area.
I know there's advertisements I've seen on TV. Is that the state or?
I don't know if I've seen that. For HEAP, it's probably state. It's probably New York State. So that's, New York State does do that for all of our
It says
programs.
here, complete heat application days,
Yep,
Cohoes, Colony, Bethlehem, New Scotland, and Rensselaerville.
yeah, Town and Gilliland.
Is
And
it-
Hilltown Resource Center, so they do go
Yeah.
there.
And is there a way that people that apply are then assigned to either the department directly or Cornell? I mean, is it a function of geography? Is it a function of?
No, not really. Cornell just helps people complete the application. They still have to send the applications to us, and we still have to process them and authorize the benefits. So they're just gathering, making sure the applications are complete, which is a real big help, especially for seniors, to make sure every I is dotted and T is crossed and all the paperwork is attached. So they help them put the package together and then get them to us in good order. So that's a big help, that really, we don't have to follow up with people, because they do it all.
And one final question, which is more general with HEAP. Is HEAP a first come, first serve program? I know like when demand went up because the price of oil and heating fuels went up so much, it's a finite amount of funding. Is it?
The funding is available as long as the season is open. So the state sets the season, and they usually start from like November 1st to March 1st. And then if they have funds available, they keep extending the season, and they have extended this season until the end of April, which is coming soon. So if they have funds available, they keep extending the season. You know what I mean?
So it's not a situation where there's a fixed amount and if more people apply, then can.
I guess that could happen, but the state, my guess is if you're eligible for HEAP and you have a legitimate application, the state will probably come up with some money. That's gonna be my guess. I don't think they've ever run out of money though. Usually they extend the season.
Thank you.
Mr. Smith?
I believe 2 or 3 years ago, we spoke kind of with your SNAP program. Somebody was trying to develop like a kiosk where you would put all your information in
That's us. Yes.
and it would tell you exactly what you're all, instead of going here, there, it would give you, you're eligible for also all this. Has that gone anywhere?
No, because we have connectivity problems with New York State. And that's a long story. So, I don't know if
So
you
no
want to get into it
development,
tonight.
okay.
But the New York State firewall and our firewall are not communicating.
Is that fixable?
Didn't we spend a bit of money on that to get that?
It was USDA funds. And we're still working on it. We're still communicating with our IT and New York State's IT.
So we're still expecting to be able to get that going and be able to utilize the money we're getting from the federal government?
We're trying to figure it out, yes, yeah.
I'll move it.
Mr. Bergeron had a
I
question.
just, not a member of the committee, but do you have to provide, and it's not that I'm worried about the program, detailed financial information to qualify for HEAP?
You have to be income eligible.
How do you prove income eligibility?
If you're working, your W-2s, or your, not
Well-
W-2s, scratch that, your last pay stubs, maybe your last 2 weeks of pay stubs, those kinds of things.
Okay,
Yeah.
I guess what I was worried about when you talk about third parties is in order to do financial documentation, you are releasing very sensitive information. You're releasing your name, your address, maybe your social security number, or maybe your bank routing number. Who knows what you're releasing? And I assume all that ends up with the department as original records?
Yes, we get the original.
And how do you safeguard that?
That's a long conversation as well, But that is, we have so much confidential material of DSS, and we have checks and balances in place. They're in files, and they're maintained in locked file cabinets on different floors that nobody can access except employees. Each employee only has access to certain client files.
So you maintain actually paper files
Yeah,
on
we still
every?
do, we're still.
It's not something
we're
that's
still-
scanned and goes into the
Well,
cloud?
that's
or-
what eventually happens with most of the programs. Like, not every case you can do that with. But yes, they're supposed to be scanned up to the New York State system. And then we would send them for shredding.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the process. But at any one time, we have a lot of paper still. Yeah. We're still paper-based.
Do we have any other questions? Motion? Motion. Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimous. And Commissioner McClay, could you actually, could you get us some information on the aging, what did you say it was a van, or the aging outreach effort to sign people up for SNAP?
Yes, I don't, yeah, I know that the commissioner has brought it
Yeah,
up.
we can also just reach out to
Okay.
Commissioner
Yeah, she'll know
Catano.
everything about it. I know that she's gotten training from us.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Item 5 is authorizing an agreement with Homeless and Travelers Aid Society regarding homeless housing emergency services.
Yeah, so we're looking for, to renew a contract with Hattis for our emergency homeless services on-call program, which provides placement, assessment and placement of homeless folks at nights, weekends, and on the holidays. And Hattis also operates the Code Blue program, which is coordinating with other providers in the area, with the police, with the CDTA, with all the folks that are Joseph's House van, to make sure everybody knows what's going on for Code Blue and coordinating all of that. So they handle a lot of phone calls and a lot of placements. They handled about 10,000 calls last year. It's really, the volume has significantly gone up on that activity. So we're actually asking for $200,000 for this contract for 1 year from October 1st through September 2024. And this is a contract that was bid in 2021, so we would be in our third year of a 4-year contract round for this contract. We had to add a little bit of funding into this because we met with the provider this morning, and they have been losing tens of thousands of dollars on this contract due to increased costs to hire people, to find people who are willing to do this work, number one, and to manage and oversee the program, which has gotten much more complicated. And so we're presenting you with a 1-year, $200,000 contract.
Are there any questions from the committee? Motion, Mr. Cleary, second. Ms. Chapman, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimous. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Item 6 is authorizing an agreement with Schenectady County regarding the provision of evaluation services for the Children with Special Needs Program. Commissioner Manning is here this evening.
Thank you very much. Good evening, members of the legislature. I'm here to ask for permission to actually continue our contract with Schenectady County. Schenectady County does not have an evaluation team, and therefore this generates revenue for DCYF because our evaluation team is able to provide the assessments, which include psychological assessment, speech therapy, occupational therapy, and we have served about last year 18 children, and the year before 13 children, and we have 7 up to date. But again, we do prioritize the Orange County youth in the program.
Thank you. And Mr. Burley?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Commissioner. A couple weeks ago on NPR, there was a story about nationwide there being a crisis in the field of early intervention, kind of the issues that we've heard earlier, that they can't keep staff, and situations where children who are subject to evaluation and interventions, actually age out before any services can ever be provided, because they just can't get the staff. Are we in something like that situation?
I think the one area of a challenge is speech pathology, that there's not enough speech providers, because what we do is we conduct the assessment, the child goes in front of the CPSC, the Committee on Preschool Education, services are authorized, but then the parent selects who they want to use. So, there are center-based programs, there are independent related services providers, and we really monitor that on a regular basis to ensure that services are being provided. But I can say speech has been a challenge in Albany County.
Is that true? It goes up to, is it 3 years old, it's provided
It's
directly by the county, and then beyond that through the school district, is that, am I correct?
3 to 5,
3 to
yes, because early intervention is birth to age 3, and that's when also we conduct assessments to identify, is there a developmental disability or any type of delay that we want to have an early intervention. And they also are monitored by service coordinators, but the preschool end of it is clearly the school district's responsibility and their approval process to provide the service. We still do the evaluation though.
And do we know, are the school districts also facing the same challenges with speech pathologists?
Well, there's a list of providers that families select from because it still is they need that expertise of dealing with the little ones, 3 to 5. It's much different than dealing with a 9 or 10-year-old. So they do have that expertise, and these lists are created with the assistance of the state, New York State Education Department, and that's what we provide to families.
And are families then finding, they go off the list, they call the provider, are they then told by the provider, sorry, we
They may
can't get
not.
to you?
Right, they might be on a waiting list, which again, unfortunately, I don't know where all of the providers are, but staffing has been a challenge across the board.
Thank you.
Because we only have one speech pathologist, but she is part of the evaluation team. We don't just have staff that are speech pathologists.
Thanks.
Are there any other questions? A motion? Motion? Second? Second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passed unanimous.
Item 7 is authorizing preschool special education provider agreements for children with disabilities ages 3 to 5 years old.
Thank you. Yes, this is, again, along the same lines, state education requires us to provide, services to children with developmental disabilities. And then therefore, we look at the service contracts with the providers that we have in the community. So in your packet, there's, again, a list of providers such as Achievements, Advanced Therapy, the Albany City School District, Beginnings, Center for Disability Services, Circle of Friends, Crossroads, Early Childhood Center, New Meadow, Parsons, St. Anne, Spotted Zebra, United House of Troy, and Whispering Pines. They all could be accessed by families to provide occupational therapy, speech therapy, or any type of social work services.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions? Ms. Lockhart?
But those are all, they're certified by the state,
Center
so that's who they have to go through those, right? I mean, I don't know if there's any others outside of that group.
There's also a list of independent
Okay.
providers that we also have a list that they can access. And
Would they be certified by the state too?
yes,
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay.
because you have to, all of these positions, you have to be licensed by New York State, like an occupational therapist, a physical therapist, you need your licensing.
I probably didn't say it right. I know that they have to be licensed, but the school, whatever, I remember some years ago, there was a problem with one of the schools. And we didn't have a choice. The state said, too bad, you still have to send kids there. I don't know if you remember that. It got straightened around eventually, but because the state sets the standard and says this is what you're gonna use.
Yeah, and see, in early intervention, we have the related service providers and then the parent selects from. And then the fiscal agent is the state. It's a little bit different on the preschool side, that they provide the list of providers that they have
Right.
approved, and then we pay for it.
Right.
So it's they're both
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Do you have a motion? Second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Passed unanimous.
Item 8 is authorizing agreements with Spotted Zebra Learning Center and achievements regarding individualized education programs for children ages 3 to 5.
Right, and, this is along the same lines, it's just that these two agencies are very large, and it's a higher cost, so therefore that's why it's a separate, proposal, or justification, I should say. But it's the same services, the OT, PT, and speech.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Do we have a motion? Motion, do we have a second? All in favor? Opposed? Passed unanimous. Thank you, Commissioner. Motion to adjourn?
Move.
Second? Is there a second?
Well, are we going back to one or no?
No, that item 2 will be heard in law tomorrow.
Okay.
I misstated audit and finance earlier.
Is that all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned.
What about it?